Sean McCormick here for Radio Hannah. Tonight we are assembling the PLRD Top 10 Countdown using files created from this week's training session that we had at J.C. Chair School with the tech leaders from all of the various schools throughout the division. I believe we had kids there from Delia, Youngstown, Cessford, which would be Berry Creek School. We didn't have any from Concert, and we did have some from Alterio. I apologize if I missed anyone, but those are the ones I can remember. And it was kind of a challenging day. We had a lot more people than we had computers. We also had some kids from Hannah show up, so it was a very crowded room, and things were a little noisy, and I'm very impressed that we got done what we did with the equipment we had in the space and the number of people. So I'm using the sound clips that we recorded that day. I'll just bring my folder over. Get rid of one junk file here. Okay, so we have all of our files were recorded. I've numbered them so I can find them easily. We have the music for the top 10, our top 10 hits. And we have our countdown intro to the show. That's our countdown intro, and then we have the background to the show that we play at the beginning and the end. Alright, so I'm going to assemble this using Audacity, which is our free audio editing software. It works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. And we're going to build a show. Now, if people are hearing themselves and freaking out and saying, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I sounded that bad, remember, we recorded under very challenging circumstances. It was very rushed, a lot of background noise. It turned out really well. We've had kids who were under much better circumstances and didn't sound this good. Not slamming those kids, it's just a matter of practice, and I think we did a great job for the day. So we'll start building this. And I apologize if you recorded a segment and you don't hear yourself. We had a lot of people doing the same segment over and over, but the problem was some were noisier than others with background noise, so I picked the ones that had the least background noise. So don't think that because we didn't use yours that you were horrible. It was that the background noise may have been horrible. Anyhow, on with the show. I'm going to open Audacity, and I'm going to take my folder. I actually have 3 monitors here, so I'm going to drag this over to one side somewhat, make it easier for me to work on. There we go. I want to bring in my top 10. So that's right at the beginning. Okay, next we will bring in our background music. Going to get my move tool and drag this over. I want to just overlap a little bit with the end. Let's see how it sounds. 0. That worked out really well. And now we want to bring in our voiceover in the background. So we want the first intro file. It's asking, do we want to make a copy of the files before editing, which is safer? No, we're just going to read the files directly. And please don't warn me again to save time. Use our move tool. Drag this over to about here. We want it to play for a couple seconds before the audio kicks in.
0. Welcome to the Prairieland Regional Division.
Alright, sounds pretty good. I think we have a little bit of noise here at the end. Let's listen.
Hannah.
Yeah, you can hear a little bit of background noise, but it's going to clip that out. So I highlighted and pressed delete. We will bring in our second file. I will try to bring in my second file. Here we go. It always drops it down one below at the beginning, which I don't like, but we'll just move her in. And we'll play it.
Central office in Hannah.
This week's show is based on the results from last week's voting form sent out on Monday, February 6th. Things have changed up a bit from the last 2 weeks, as we're finally back to having more pop songs and country songs in the top 10. This has not been the case for a while.
Okay, at this point I'm going to save my project. So if something crashes in Windows, I won't lose it. Now there's a warning here saying that saving the project does not save the actual audio file, which is something you have to be aware of. When we're done at the end, we're going to do a mixdown, which takes all of our little files and makes one big audio file, or our radio show from all the little files. Right now, we're just saving the project file, which says which little files we're using, and that's a good thing. So, call it PLRD Top 10 Episode 01010. So I will save without copying. Just taking a moment here. Okay, I'm going to bring in number 3. And of course it puts it down in the wrong place as usual. So let's move it up. We'll get rid of these extra tracks that we don't need. And let's play it to see here how it sounds.
In the case for a while.
This week's big losers are Fifth Harmony and Brett Kissel, who went from the 1 and 2 spots last week to, well, 0. Keith Urban, DJ Timmy Anyhow, on with the show.
Okay, and we know from here we go to song number 10, the 10th spot. So I'm going to drag that file in, which of course it'll put in the wrong place. So we will move that over here. Now if you notice, the audio levels between these files and this one are a little different. This one's a little higher, so let's have a listen and see how the audio sounds. We'll watch the meters.
Anyhow, on with the show. Sia may be on her way off the PLRD Top 10 Countdown.
So you noticed how the meters jump from here to here, because this was recorded a little louder, so we're going to drop this by about 3 decibels and play that again.
Anyhow, on with the show. Sia may be on her way off the PLRD Top 10 Countdown.
Okay, it's still a little loud, drop it by 1 more.
Anyhow, on with the show. Sia may be on her way off the PLRD Top 10 Countdown.
Okay, and I'll bring this one up 1 decibel, maybe 2.
Anyhow, on with the show. Sia may be on her way.
There we go. We've nicely equalized the levels between those two. It sounds a lot better. So we have consistent audio. I'll go to the end.
Last week, and has now dropped to number 10 with her single Cheap Thrills.
Okay, so this is where our number 10 song Cheap Thrills comes in. So I'm going to, at this point, I want to get rid of the rest of this track up to about, let's say, put a marker in here. I cannot put a marker in here. That's all right. Things change from one program to the next. Get rid of that audio. We're going to say Effect, Fade Out.
With her single Cheap Thrills.
Okay, so this song is fading out. And we're going to drop in our music. We'll go up to Top 10, Music, and Cheap Thrills. It's importing the song, which takes a second. I'm actually doing this off of a thumb drive, which is a little slower. I apologize. And we're going to move this song over so it lines up with the file. Okay, let's give it a play.
With her single Cheap Thrills.
There we go. Brings in the song right on cue. Okay, I am going to save my file. Control S. Save without copying. There we go. I'm just going to pause this for a second while I move all of my files to the desktop and make things faster. Okay, I'm back, and we are going to go back to our recordings folder. Now we want song number 9. So we're going to go back to Audacity, see where this ends, over here. What we really want is the song to drop in there, but it won't, so we'll go to number 9, drag it over. It's imported. Here is our voiceover for number 9. We'll bring it up. Just over, bring it up just a little more. And play.
Ed Sheeran is an English singer and songwriter who is known not only for his chart top up for this week by placing twice. Here he is at number 9 with Castle on the Hill.
Okay, that's number 9, Castle on the Hill by Ed Sheeran is our next song. So we'll go back to our music. We want Castle on the Hill, which we will drag in. Select our Move tool, and we will drag this over. And let's see how it sounds.
Up for this week by placing twice. Here he is at number 9 with Castle on the Hill.
Okay, that sounds good. I notice my audio over here is a little low, so I'll bring it up by 1 decibel, 2 decibels.
Up for this week by placing twice.
Okay, that's a good audio level. And now we want number 8, voiceover recording. So, number 8, drag that in. Take our Move tool. Just going to expand this a bit. Go, Move tool. And let's listen.
John Party's Dirt on My Boots worked its way up the chart to number 1 spot for 2 weeks in a row. Dropped to number 9 last week, and
Okay, so we have good audio levels. It's pinging around the 0 mark. That's what we want. We're going to figure out which song we need next. So,
John Party tracking Mud on Your Floor with Dirt on My Boots.
okay, Dirt on My Boots is our next song. Go back to music, grab Dirt on My Boots, drag it in. Grab our Move tool, move it over, and we're just going to zoom in once more.
Mud on Your Floor with Dirt on My Boots.
Okay, that's a nice transition. We're going to save our file. Save without copying. There we go. And now we want number 7. Drag that in. As you can see, this is fairly easy once you see how it works. And we will magnify. Drag that over. Over the end of the fade, and let's listen.
Georgia-Florida line dropped from number 6 last week to number 7 this week.
Let's clean up the beginning of that file. Delete. Better.
Georgia-Florida line dropped from number 6 last week to number 7 this week with their single, Holy.
Okay. We know the song we want. GFL, Holy. Grab it, drop it in. Okay, we're going to move this all the way over. And we have to zoom in because of how Audacity starts to shrink things to make things fit. Good heavens, I can't even talk at this time of night. Let's have a listen here.
Single, Holy. Holy.
Clean up the end of this file.
Holy.
And we will move our sound file over just a bit.
Holy.
Okay, good transition. We're going to save once more. I'll tell it to stop asking me. Saved our files. And now we want number 6. Drag in number 6. Move that over to the end. Magnify. Tweak the position, and let's play.
Zayn Malik and Taylor Swift are having trouble holding onto a spot on our countdown. They placed
Okay.
this week with I Don't Want to Live Forever.
Okay, so we know I Don't Want to Live Forever is our next song. We're going to go back to music and drag in our song. Once again, move tool, drag our song all the way over, zoom in so that we can see our positioning, make sure it's okay, fine tune just a bit, and let's play.
This week with I Don't Want to Live Forever.
Okay, sounds good. Do another save. And now we know we need to bring in the recording for intro for number 5. Drop that in there. Once again, move it over to the end. And we will zoom in to fine-tune our placement as before. Move tool, drag it up. Cursor, position.
American country singer Blake Shelton.
Okay, tiny bit of a gap. There we go. Try again.
American country singer Blake Shelton.
There we go. That is a nice transition. We like that. And what song are we bringing in? Blake Shelton. Can't remember half the
In the
songs.
number 5 spot this week with Guy with the Girl.
Guy with the Girl. Okay. Go back up. Music. Guy with the Girl. Drag that in. Okay, move our file over. Magnify to fine-tune the placement. Move tool.
To girl.
Come in just a little slower.
To girl.
Good enough. Save. Go back to our recordings, and we need number 4. Move tool, drag it over. Magnify. Have that fade out over the intro just a bit. Play that.
Did we mention that Ed Sheeran is having a good week on our chart? That's because he really is. In addition to holding the number 9 spot this week, he has also placed at number 4 with Shape of You.
Okay, Shape of You. Go back to music, grab our song, drag it in. Okay, move our file over as usual. Magnify to adjust placement. We can tell, by the way, that there's a little extra silence at the end here, so we'll get rid of that. And we'll play.
Shape of You.
Okay, sounds good. We're going to save the file so we don't lose our work. And now we know we need recording number 3 for the number 3 spot. Drag that in. Move it over. And we'll magnify so we can see our placement, which is a little off. Back to cursor, and let's listen.
The Chainsmokers were all over.
Okay. Good transition.
Appeared at number 3 this week with their new song Closer. Appeared at...
Okay, so we know we need Closer as our next song. Go back to music, grab our song, drag it in. Move the file over. Magnify. And our position is way off, so we're just going to drag this over to about there. And let's play.
Appeared at number 3 this week with their new song Closer.
Okay, that's a good transition. We will save the file. Go back, we want our number 2 spot recording. Number 2, drag that in. Move tool, drag this over to the end. Slide over a bit, and let's magnify to check our placement. Okay, we can see the sound level on this file, by the way, is not as high as the others, so we will check to see why. Let's play it.
Luke Bryan took 4th place last week with Kick the
Around
Dust Up.
here, we want more volume, so we're going to add about 7 to this and try again.
Luke Bryan took 4th place.
Not loud enough, add another 5.
Luke Bryan took 4th place last week with Kick the Dust Up. He has since advanced to places to the number 2 spot this week, where he is indeed kicking the dust up. Here's Luke Bryan.
Okay, so I adjusted the volume by about 11 decibels here to make up for the low volume on the sound clip. We usually try to have a good volume, but if you don't, put it on a separate track and just adjust it, which we did. So that was, I believe, Kick the Dust Up. Let's just check one more time.
Indeed, kicking the dust up. Here's Luke Bryan.
Okay, Luke Bryan, Kick the Dust Up. Music, dragging our track. Move tool, move our track over. Magnify tool, let's have a look and see how our placement is. And by golly, it's horrible. We'll use our move tool. And let's play.
Indeed, kicking the dust up. Here's Luke Bryan.
Kick the dust up.
Go. We know that we need number 1 recording because we're up to number 1 on the chart. So here is the intro to the number 1 song. Drop that in. Move tool. Drag it over. Okay, magnifying tool. Let's have a look here. Helps me grab the right tool. Let's try that. And we are off once again. The more compressed it gets, the harder it is to see. Little overlap here. Let's have a listen.
Let's kick the dust up.
John Bellion is only placed once on.
Okay, we know that John Bellion is our number 1 song. So, double check.
Here's John Bellion with this week's number 1 song, All Time Low.
Perfect. Go back to music. Grab All Time Low by John Bellion. Drag that puppy in. Move tool, drag this over to the end, slide over, and let's magnify and see how bad our placement is. Yeah, not so good. Okay, so we're going to slide this over. See how the song has a slow fade in right here? We're going to place it so that the song sort of kicks in after the voiceover ends, but you've got that nice build up in the background behind the voiceover.
Here's John Bellion with this week's number 1 song, All Time Low. Here's John Bellion with this week's number 1 song, All Time Low.
Okay, so you can hear that sort of hissing noise build up in the background. That's actually part of the song. So we worked into the background of our announcer. So that's good. We have our last song in there. Now what we normally do in the show is once we have the last song finish, we drop in our background file one more time. So I'll drop that in. Wow, this is kind of like watching paint dry, isn't it? The scary thing is this is a very new, very expensive, very powerful computer, and I'm not sure why it's running this slow. I'll have to look into it later. Alright, there's my file. Take her, drag her over, slide over, magnify. Yeah, that's pretty bad placement, so we'll just over some more, magnify. And have a listen. Okay, the one went to the next very nicely. I like that. And we're going to grab our last of our recordings. We have closing part. There's 2 closing paragraphs, which we'll drag in the first. I'm just going to save my file. I haven't been doing that. Okay, I saved just in case it crashes. I'll move my file over. Let us have a look. I went over too far. We actually want this over towards the front. And we'll grab our second file at the same time. And drag that over. Okay, this one is a stereo channel, so I can't combine them. We had somebody recording in mono and somebody in stereo. So I can't put them both on the same channel. Let's just magnify here and have a look. Okay, zoom in a little more. Go to move this to the here. And going to move this to here. And let's listen.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Please check your school email on Monday, February 27th for your next voting form. Remember, hosting this show is spread around the schools in our division. If you would like a future show to be hosted out of your school, speak to your principal and they will make it happen.
This is the students from PLRD's tech teams thanking you for taking the time to vote and tune in. We'll see you again on our next PLRD Top 10 Countdown.
Okay, we want the show to end here, so we'll just take out the rest of this track. I'll highlight it. Work my way to the end here slowly. And delete. Scroll back here. Just going to save my work. Listen to this one more time.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Please check your school email on Monday, February 20th.
Just going to try sliding over to where the sort of the uptick and upbeat there, because we have space on the end, and the show might end a little more naturally this way.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Please check your school email on Monday, February 27th for your next voting form. Remember, hosting this show is spread around the schools in our division. If you would like a future show to be hosted out of your school, speak to your principal and they will make it happen.
This is the students from PLRD's tech teams thanking you for taking the time to vote and tune in. We'll see you again on our next PLRD Top 10 Countdown.
Perfect. So we like how that went together. Let's just minimize our view here and show you how the entire thing looks now. Well, not everything fits on. Yep, everything fits on one screen. Let's just see if we can minimize this. Okay. Just trying to show what the entire show looks like here on the timeline. Okay, so from start to finish, here is the entire show. So we worked our way down to the various layers, and there's all the layers that make up the show. Save one more time. Now at this point we don't actually have the show as one audio file yet. All we've done is save a project file, which is a file saying where all the little files are and where they are in relation to each other. So at this point we're going to go to File, Export Audio. This is the big one. Until you've done this, you don't actually have a show. So we'll say Export Audio. We want to make this MP3. We're going to have an average quality of 128 kilobits per second. That is the quality we broadcast at on Radio Hannah. It's near CD quality. So if you save the file with more quality than this, nobody will hear it because it's downsampled for play on Radio Hannah by our server. And you will just wind up with uploading a bigger file than you need to, which takes more time. So we are saving this. It's saying your tracks will be mixed down to 2 stereo channels in the exported file. You sure you want to do this? Absolutely. And we're going to say don't show this warning again. Here we go. Now we can put in some stuff here. I'll say this is various artists. PLRD Top 10 Countdown Episode 10. Year 2017. Genre pop, and country is what we have. And now it's mixing down. It's going to take a couple of minutes. I'm just going to speed up the rest here in a bit. But what we have here, when we're done, is the finished file. So thank you so much to everybody who was part of our tech team training on Wednesday. We really appreciate you guys coming out. It was a challenging day, we know that. And I'm sorry we couldn't get through everything, particularly finishing this file in the time we had. So I hope that seeing this now has been helpful, and you know how we actually put together all the files you record into a radio show. And we do this using free software. And I do have to say, normally it does work faster than this. My computer seems to be having issues tonight, and I will have to check that out. But this is good software. It does run very well on quite a few systems, even older ones. So if your computer's a bit older, don't worry. You can still use Audacity. So thank you very much for watching and for listening and for being part of this. And that is our finished show, which is 36 megabytes in size. There's our intro.
Our division. If you would like a future show to be hosted out of your school, speak to your principal and they will make it happen.
Job well done.
This is the students from PLRD's tech teams thanking you for taking the time to vote and tune in. We'll see you again in our next PLRD Top 10 Countdown.
And that's it. Thanks, folks.